Hello friends, welcome back to Simple Sanctuary Garden. My name is Sarah. It is Labor Day weekend. It's actually Monday, so Labor Day, and I thought I would take y'all on a garden tour. It's been a little bit since we've done one, and honestly my garden looks the best that it's looked all year long. It has absolutely no reason and no right to look this good, but it's pretty incredible. So I thought we'd walk around a little bit. I'd show y'all what's going on. I have my garden wine, and yeah, let's go take a walk. All right, so we're gonna start over in the side yard. We've started calling it the chicken yard because we are getting chickens soon. I have finally admitted that I am not equipped to fix the roof of the chicken coop. My husband is going to do most of the fixing of it. I said I still want to be involved because I want to learn, but really he's going to be the one to fix it. So chickens are imminent, but look at all of this. We'll start here, right? So these are my Thai soldier beans. I love them. I raved about them all last year. It is crazy hot and humid right now, so they are finally coming in strong. I think I picked a little over a pound of beans today, and I picked another pound 2 days ago. They need to be blanched. There's still beans on there. Like, you go sort of blind, I guess, to them when you're picking them. It's like you can't see them right in front of you after you've been picking for a while. It's kind of weird. But fun, because then you just keep picking. I'm going to sit the wine down there. All right, so let's look what we got going on over here. This is insanity. I realize this, because it is not just Thai soldier beans. It's also a cucuzzi vine that the soldier beans started taking over the teepee that I'd made. And so I've let the cucuzzi vine out over here. And it's going along the ground. I'm hoping I'm going to get another gourd off of it. And I kind of want it to be a crazy shape. I just want to see what it can do. I think that would be fun. My Thai soldier beans have climbed all the way up this bush. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I have a vine going all the way to the top. There's beans up there. I don't know how I'm gonna get them. I guess I'm gonna let them dry up and fall off and have lots of volunteer soldier beans. My other cucuzzi plant is a raging success. Look at this guy. He's super happy. He's super healthy. Got a nice little zinnia growing next to him, but I have a cucuzzi gourd, and it's substantial. Actually, I need to go get my snips. I want to pick that. All right, got my snips. Wait till y'all see this thing. I know that they can get much bigger than this. Cucuzzi are supposed to be able to feed like a family of 7 per gourd, but it's just me and my husband, and honestly, he doesn't really even like squash. I'm the one who loves all veggies, so it's probably already too big. But look at this thing. Look at that. I grew that. I was telling you all about my turnip from the spring that was the biggest thing I've ever grown. It has now been taken out by this cucuzzi gourd. Let's see what we can do, because I don't want to bruise him. I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed. All right. Gentle. Yeah. Look at this thing. I don't know if I can hold the camera far enough back for you to be able to see it. Look at that. It's hefty. It's probably a couple pounds. Oh, this is fantastic. So I've got probably just 7 kinds of cross-eyed. The baby hairs, the little fine hairs around my face, are reacting to this humidity and curling. I don't have curly hair. It is like straight as a board, but today it's like, hey, Let's curl. Anyway, look at this thing. So where I am, we get a crazy amount of pest pressure. Pickle worms, vine borers, whatever you want to call them, are, I don't know when their off season is, to be totally honest. I'm going to show you all the other half of the chicken bed, and I have several vines that have already been taken out, even though it's September, by vine borers. I guess I could start some more. I'm not going to, I'm moving on. But they don't care about these because this is actually a gourd. It's not a squash. So they leave it alone. Oh, it's covered in little hairs. I'm getting hair everywhere. But this is so cool. Oh, I can't wait to take it inside and show Hub Scout. I'm super proud of myself. This is not going to go gracefully. Maybe that'll work. We'll find out. But we're not leaving the wine behind. No, sir. I've got a small backyard garden. You saw that cucuzzi vine, what it was growing up. I just have it on a tomato cage. I don't have a ton of room for arch trellises. I want some, but we haven't really got the infrastructure for it yet, or a good place to put it that won't just really block like the natural flow of the yard. So they'll come eventually, but I don't have them now. But as you can tell from that gourd, a trellis will do the trick so that it goes straight. I don't actually know why you want them to go straight. I just know people do. I assume it's so you can get more even pieces when you cut it up to cook. But I'm really looking forward to that cucuzzi vine that's grown along the ground to see if I can get like a really crazy shaped one that's all curled up on itself. I think it looks kind of like a snake. I'm surprised there's not a snake in the name. They didn't put me in charge of naming it. Guess there are already snake gourds. Okay, focus. My chicken bed. You'll notice it looks a little bare right now. There were several more curcubits that I had, but they got taken out by some pretty vicious pickle worm babies. I came out one morning, I had watered the night before, there were no pests on them, and the leaves were like lace. In one night, there was like 50 of those things that hatched. They ate it up right away, and obviously they didn't really survive. At this far end, I have, I think that's a Lady Godiva pumpkin / squash, which I want because my husband loves pumpkin seeds, and I'd love to grow our own pumpkin seeds. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I left my wine on the other side of the yard like a ninny. All right, I'm on the other side of that same chain link fence because since the soldier beans are growing on both sides, you can really see from this side how crazy it is. And there's beans going all the way up. It is, I'm apparently really ticked off a cicada. It is crazy how far up the beans are growing. So this is my chain link. It's covered in a luscious vine. You can't hardly see the chain link. That's how I like it. And then there's this shrub right here that marks the edge of my husband's little meditation alcove. And you can see it just climbs up this shrub. It's like 12, 14 feet high. You see those beans up there? I can't get to those. So those are gonna dry out and hopefully not just fall down and self-seed, although I wouldn't be terribly upset about it. But I mean, there's beans all the way up to the top. That's a happy, happy vine. So I love covering that chain link up because, like, chain link's useful, don't get me wrong, but it's not pretty. You don't drive around thinking like, you know what makes that house look good? That chain link fence. So I love covering it up with a climber, and the Thai soldier beans tend to take over their area. So I'm happy with them being there. They're doing really well. If it self-seeds, it self-seeds. It's just funny to me how high up those beans get. I mean, you can kind of see it from here. I really wonder what the neighbors think. All right, we are coming up on my tiny little okra patch. I have really like 4 okra plants right now. My okra is really just now coming in. This is the heavy hitter okra, which I'm super impressed with because, as you can see, it's got the main stem, and then it's got these little side shoots that also produce fruit. And we've picked some that I honestly thought they were not going to be edible because they were huge, and I thought it was going to be solid wood. But it was soft, it was juicy, it was great. So it reminds me of that emerald variety of okra. Emerald okra was developed by Campbell's Soup to go into their soup, and it stays soft. It really doesn't get woody. But this heavy hitter, it stays pretty soft as well. It's really impressive. I also finally have zinnias. I planted these really, really late. I was talking to a relative, and we were talking about our love of zinnias, and that made me realize I didn't actually start zinnias in the spring. I was really focused on food, and so I started some late. They're just now coming in, but they are beautiful. This little red dude, I'm leaving him on to get a nice big zinnia flower from him, but my zinnias are coming in. My okra's finally coming in, and it's September. Like, everything should be dead, kind of bare, getting ready to move into fall. This is not what I expected my garden to look like right now. It's not what I planned really for my garden to look like right now. I did not expect this degree of, is verdancy a word? I didn't expect it to be so green and lush. Everything should be dead from heat exhaustion, but it's not. This is, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying. As you can see, the sweet potatoes are looking amazing. This is the time of year where I start really paying attention to them, start sticking a shovel in every so often to see how the potatoes are coming out. I don't want them to get too big and too old, then they get really starchy. This variety that you have here, or that we have here, is our purple sweet potato variety. They were a bit starchy last year, so I think I let them get too old before I dug them up. But I love using them in my beds, even though I always get some volunteers the next year, because they act like a mulch. They're a great ground cover. They help keep it really moist. The peppers actually, particularly these bell peppers, really benefit from the additional moisture. I tend to put sweet potatoes in my beds, even though I'm pretty sure a lot of people would recommend not to do that. The peppers I've also started calling perma peppers. They can be perennial here. Last winter we had some really big freezes. They weren't long, but they were intense, and that took out a lot of my peppers, which was unusual. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so I'm not going to say they are definitely perennials here, but they can be, especially if you're being really proactive and taking care of them in the winter. So I'm hoping that I will have just a permanent pepper bed here in this ziggurat. I've also made another permanent addition, you can see, with this lovely guava tree. This was my present to my husband for our anniversary. He loves fruit. Guava is one of his favorite things for jams and jellies. So I got a guava tree. The next bed is my original ziggurat, and I know it's looking a little puny. The soil desperately needs amending in it. It's got a lot of our native soil, which just means like dirt we dug out of the backyard. It's mostly sand. It's on its 3rd year. A lot of the nutrients have been sucked out. So one of the things I'm really pushing towards while it's still hot, before I can really plant my truly cool weather stuff, is I have put in some buckwheat. And so what I'm going to do is try and loosen up the dirt with the buckwheat roots a little bit. I'll have some pretty flowers. It'll attract pollinators, and then I can chop and drop and feed and mulch the soil that way. This is my tomatillo plant. I have learned that actually the best time for tomatillos is in the fall here. The issue is, this is another of one of my original beds. It's old. The soil desperately needs more amending, as you can see by the leaves. I am pretty sure this is a nitrogen deficiency. However, If you are a tomatillo expert and you know, like you've seen this, you know what it is, you know what I need to do, please let me know in the comments below, because I am running dangerously low on my tomatillo salsa, and I'm dependent on these plants for tomatillos so I can make more salsa. So if you know why my leaves are so pale, please let me know. We're giving it compost tea. Again, we think it's nitrogen. We think it's just the bed's starting to run out of nutrients. But if it's something else, I need y'all to tell me. Whew. All right, I'm gonna stand in the shade while I sign off. That's what the garden's looking like right now. Again, it is way more lush and beautiful and productive than I really expected for early September. I was expecting dry and crusty and just pure heat exhaustion. It has definitely been a strange year for gardening. Nothing that I expected really has come to fruition, or at least not in the way that I expected. But this is definitely a pleasant surprise. I hope you guys enjoyed walking around with me today. Again, if you know what's up with my tomatillos, please let me know. And we'll talk soon. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys.